Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Business 360, where we break down the numbers, connect the dots, and give you the developments and the insights you need to navigate, adapt, and lead. Let's dive right in. Public Works and Highway Secretary Vince Dizon says a 45 billion peso cut to the department's 2026 budget will delay key infrastructure projects, calling the Senate move miscalculated. Property developers get temporary relief as the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development extends the deadline for socialized housing compliance. The Philippines earns global recognition after being named Asia's best retirement destination in a new international ranking. The government awards all Treasury bills at its latest auction, even as year-end trading thins and market signals turn mixed. PhilHealth losses continue to mount, raising concerns that Filipinos will face higher costs and tighter benefits ahead. Malacañang is stepping in to break a budget stalemate with billions in public works on the line. The palace says President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is backing Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon's call to reinstate 45 billion pesos removed from the Department of Public Works and Highways' 2026 budget. The dispute has put the bicameral talks on the 6.79 trillion peso national budget on hold after lawmakers failed to agree on the size of the DPWH cuts. Malacañang warns that if the funds are not restored, nearly 10,000 public works projects will face delays, including road, bridge, and flood control works nationwide. At the same time, former Public Works Secretary Rogelio Singson is returning to the agency, tasked to help review and assess future flood control projects following his 3-month role with the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or ICI. Now, bicameral talks on the 6.73 trillion peso 2026 national budget resumed today after a one-day pause triggered by a deadlock. Senate Finance Chair Sherwin Gatchalian says negotiations are now back on track. The stalemate centers on the Department of Public Works and Highways budget, cut from 880 billion pesos by the House, then slashed further by the Senate to 570 billion pesos over concerns about overpriced projects. Gatchalian says that the Senate's figures are based on data submitted by the DPWH and maintains that the delay will not derail the passage of the budget before the end of the year. House Appropriations Chair Micaela Swansing says that the House is ready to resume talks, adding both chambers agree on removing overpriced items, with the disagreement now boiling down to how the cuts should be implemented. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. orders a shift in government housing, focusing on location, livability, and access to work. He directs the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development to build quality housing near job centers, transport hubs, and basic services. The instruction was given during a Malacañang briefing on the catch-up plans for the Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino program and other state-led housing projects. The president also called for more flexible and affordable options, including rental housing, to support low and middle-income families who struggle with rising living and transport costs. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro says Marcos wants simpler payment terms and better quality of life for government housing beneficiaries, signaling a push to make state housing more practical and worker-friendly. Now, the Philippines gets a global nod as a top place to retire in Asia. The country has been named Asia's best retirement destination at the 11th Tripzilla Excellence Awards. Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco says that the recognition confirms the Philippines' appeal as a retirement haven, citing the country's warm climate, strong hospitality, and quality of life. Frasco also pointed to government efforts to grow retirement tourism, including upgrades to the Special Resident Retirees Visa, or SSRV program. The Philippines now hosts more than 83,000 SSRV holders, with the Philippine Retirement Authority rolling out its new We Care campaign to attract more foreign retirees. Now, the government closes its final Treasury bill auction of the year, with demand holding up despite thinner year-end trading. The Bureau of Treasury fully awarded its 20 billion peso T-bill offering at mixed rates. T-bids hit 87.46 billion pesos, more than 4 times the amount on offer, with all tenors awarded at yields below secondary market levels, according to the Treasury. Rates came in mixed following recent rate cuts by both the United States Federal Reserve and the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, even as trading activity thins out ahead of the year-end. Monday's auction marks the final Treasury bill sale for both the month and the year. Now, PhilHealth, the government-run national health insurance program, is facing intensified scrutiny as audit findings raise questions about how public health funds are now being managed. Billions of pesos in funds remain unutilized, even as hospitals report cash flow strain and patients face delays in care. The Commission on Audit has flagged over 1 billion pesos in denied or returned claims, citing systemic inefficiencies in claims processing. The audit also shows that benefit payouts declined despite higher contributions from members, raising concerns about PhilHealth's ability to fully deliver on the universal healthcare law. Healthcare groups warn that without faster reforms and stronger oversight, delayed payments could continue to strain hospital operations and affect healthcare workers and patients. As contributions continue to rise, auditors and lawmakers say accountability and execution, not funding levels, will determine whether PhilHealth can restore public trust. Now, as billions of pesos in flood control funds come under scrutiny, a major business group is now being dragged into the controversy. A civic group is calling out the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry, or FFCCCII, for publicly backing Education Secretary Sonny Angara amid allegations linked to flood control projects. FFCCCII says it has full confidence in Angara and describes the accusations as unsubstantiated. But the Aceron Public Interest and Legal Association, or APILA, pushes back, warning that the stalemate amounts to a preemptive defense that could undercut calls for a full and independent investigation. Angara's name enters the spotlight after former Department of Public Works and Highways Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo claims kickbacks of up to 12% in multi-billion peso flood control projects. Now, the Philippines is pouring record money into education, 961.3 billion pesos to be exact, for the Department of Education in 2026. For the business community, this matters because education directly shapes the future workforce, productivity, wages, and the country's ability to attract and retain investment. The key question now is whether record spending can translate into real, measurable results. As the global economy shifts toward technology, automation, and higher value work, this is no longer just about classrooms. It's about whether schools are producing critical thinkers, ethical decision makers, and a workforce that can adapt as jobs and industries evolve. To help us put this into context, we're joined by Dr. Maricris Asido Muega, professor at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, member of the Teacher Education Council, and a leading voice in philosophy and values education. Good morning, Dr. Maricris, and thank you for being here with us.
Good morning, and I'm happy to be here in the show.
Okay, Dr. Maricris, let's start with the big picture. How would you describe the state of education in the Philippines today, December 2025?
We are actually struggling in education, and this is evidenced by our 85% struggling readers in basic education, especially in years 1 to 3, and with at least a year and 1 to 3 years learning gap in these children.
Yeah, years 1 to 3, big learning gaps, and it's at the very beginning. I'm taking a look at the figures. EdCom puts the literacy rate Q4 2025 at 22%. Can you confirm these figures, Dr. Maricris?
Yes, EdCom, or the Education Commission, which was placed into law to look at and evaluate education, yes, it confirms that that's the numbers. We are struggling in terms of early literacy and foundational skills.
22% in literacy. This sounds like a huge crisis. How does it look from your perspective, Dr. Maricris?
This is really impending. This is really difficult for us as a country, since foundational skills or reading skills are very important. Foundational skills for our learners, for them to be able to think critically. They need to be able to learn how to read.
Yeah, the literacy, it's very basic. Would you say, with a 22% literacy rate, latest data showing that, would you say that our education is in a crisis mode, Dr. Maricris?
Yes, it is in a crisis mode, as also reported by the Education Commission, second EdCom. Right? Mm-hmm. We are in learning crisis.
How serious is this situation?
this is serious because it means that we are 1 to 3 years lagging in terms of the skills and knowledge of our learners. And
Yeah, as the world shifts to automation, AI, we are struggling with basic literacy and, of course, what comes with that comprehension. What do we need to do now? What does the Department of Education, under the helm of Secretary Sonny Angara, what do they need to do now, especially as they're going to have a whopping budget in 2026?
Yes, the Department of Education under Secretary Angara has actually done things already to ensure structural reforms, policy reforms with the strengthened senior high school program, which allots now 289% of on-the-job training from a mere 80% in the previous senior high school program, which means that the learners will have more time to be on the job practice. And the DepEd also has aligned with industry, PBED, the Philippine Business for Education, with Khan Academy to augment all the resources that it needs to be able to have learning materials, to have the AI and digital infrastructure. It has also launched this year the Education Center for AI Research, and it has partnered with the CMEO, the Southeast Asian Ministry of Education, and has actually come up with its specific plans for this.
Speaking of specifics, for 2026, the national budget, we've earmarked 961.3 billion pesos for the Department of Education. This is the largest amount that we're going to be spending on education, bar none. What do you think we'll be able to see by the end of 2026 with a budget this large? With a budget this large, funding won't be an issue anymore. It's all about the execution. So what do you think, Dr. Maricris, we're going to be able to see with a whopping budget in education?
Yes, we need to be able to build classrooms because as the DepEd has promised, it wanted to use the budget to build 15,000 classrooms, at least in the year 2026 through 2027. And for more learning materials, textbooks for our learners, which should come on time. This year, the Department of Education has 289% success in the textbooks, in coming up with the textbooks, procurement of textbooks, through the law that Senator Angara has enacted when he was still in the Senate, which looked at pre-selection of materials before the bidding, before we had post-selection. So right now we have this big success in the procurement of our materials.
Dr. Maricris, we want to understand what we got wrong in the past so that we can fix it moving forward. You've been in this business, in education, for over 2 decades. What were the gaps that led to this 22% literacy rate? I'm asking that because this is something that we really need to build up in 2026.
It's a confluence of many things, but among others, it's really the implementation of the policies in the Department of Education. The congestion of the curriculum is very important, which the Matatag curriculum did, focused only, especially for the senior high school programs, on 5 major courses, and with many electives. And really, the unity of all the stakeholders, the TESDA, DepEd, and CHED, they are now working together with the Teacher Education Council to ensure that all the policies are being implemented with the evaluation also of outcomes being done. And this is, I think,
Yeah, teacher education, teacher training is so crucial. The Philippines continues to join international assessments like the PISA, the Program for International Student Assessment, and our rankings showed really dismal figures in math, reading comprehension, very important subjects. I was talking to Geraldine Acuña. She brought the Khan Academy to the Philippines, and she's rolling that out. And she said that she had the teachers take that PISA exam, and 50% of our teachers, over 50% of our teachers flunked it. What does that say about teacher training in the country, and what are the gaps that we need to fill?
Yes, there's really a big gap and a big problem with teacher education, and we are addressing this with a reframed teacher education curriculum, which will be rolled out in 2026. So this includes now alignment of specialization skills, focus on skills that are aligned with the basic education skills as well that are taught to our learners. with an emphasis on critical thinking skills, technology, literacy, so that our teachers will be able to teach these to our students as well.
Yeah. On another front, Dr. Maricris, Secretary Sunny Angara took over the Department of Education in July of 2024. He's now leading this department at a very critical junction. And as he does that, he's facing accusations of kickbacks. That's in the news. How confident is the education sector, in your perspective, in his leadership?
Well, stakeholders in education as well as in business and other community leaders have actually voiced out support to Education Secretary Angara. He had always been steadfast and resolute in all the tasks that he does in the Department of Education, and has always ensured that whatever happens with all of these accusations, he will be able to deliver his work in the DepEd.
Yeah. Any concerns that, that these cases, these issues may be sidetracking and taking away from the time and attention and focus that needs to be put into this department?
Yes, I think it is taking a toll on Secretary Angara, but I also see that he is focused on the deliverables in the Department of Education. He had always he had this 5-point agenda that he set when he became secretary, and I think he had been religiously looking at all the outcomes of the things that he wanted to do for the Department of Education.
Yeah,
we have high hopes.
Yeah, and Dr. Maricris, as we look ahead to 2026 with this budget, this massive budget in education, what are your hopes for education in the Philippines as we move forward?
With this budget, we are happy to have this for education, the biggest so far since previous years. We hope to be able to build classrooms. We hope to build the 15,000 classroom for our learners. We hope to have a good curriculum, public-private partnership in place with industry, and we hope to be able to train and educate our teachers in a new reframed curriculum that we have.
Yeah, and one last question, Dr. Maricris, how can the private sector help in this push for a stronger foundation for education in the country?
Yes, the help of the private sector is very much needed, and it always had been the case with the public-private partnership. In fact, in the DepEd, Secretary Angara is very successful in bringing linkages with the private sector, with the World Bank helping out in the school building of the classrooms, with PBED looking at this resources as well, the need of the Department of Education. Even in terms of research, they have been helping out. CMEO have also helped out in the AI integration, the technology, Khan Academy, and many other partners, stakeholders, even in the industry and the other stakeholders as well. So we need the help. And we hope that the business would really give to education a certain portion of their income for social service.
Okay, thank you for your time, Dr. Maricris Asido Muega.
Thank you.
We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line. Let's check on how Western markets closed and what those moves mean for trading across Asia this Tuesday morning. Wall Street finished lower on Friday as investors turned cautious ahead of a heavy slate of economic data due this week. Okay, that data is a little dated. Let's take a look at how U.S. did. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was flat with a downward bias. Overnight, S&P 500 lower by 0.2%, and the NASDAQ lower by 0.6%. Over in Europe, European stocks ended higher across the board, up by 1%. For the UK's FTSE, Germany's DAX up by 0.2%, and France's CAC 40 up by 0.7%. Let's check on how markets are doing here in Asia this Tuesday morning. Let's pull that up right now. Nikkei 225 is in the green, higher by 1%. Rather, Nikkei 225 is in the red, well entrenched in negative territory, down by 1.3% in early trade. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index down as well, down by 1.5%. Shanghai's Composite down by 1%, and Singapore's Straits Times Index down by 0.4%. Here at home, taking a look at our market, as of 10:20 this morning, the PSE Index is trading flat with a slight upward bias, up by less than 0.1% to 60.61. All shares index in the green as well, flat with a very, very slight upward bias at 35.56. Taking a look at the sub-indices, The financial sector is flat. Industrial holdings, property counters, and mining and oil counters are in the red, whereas the services counter is higher by 0.8%. So the total volume right now, we're looking at 138 million shares changing hands, valued at just over 1 billion pesos, at 1.13 billion pesos. Market breadth almost neck and neck. We've got 67 advancers, 61 decliners, and 54 stocks unchanged, just showing you that people don't know what to do right now. On the currency front, the peso opened at 58.93 to the greenback, up from its previous close of 59.04. Now, the government's crackdown on alleged citizenship fraud is now reaching into big business. Dubbed Alice Goa 2.0, a Senate investigation is now focusing on Global Ferro-Nickel Holdings Incorporated figure Joseph Q.C. Immigration officials told lawmakers that C admitted on record that he is a Chinese national, a statement that could void his Filipino citizenship. If confirmed, the finding could lead to forfeiture or reversion of assets, including mining interests that are legally restricted to Filipino ownership. When asked whether he is also known as Chen Zongzhen, the name flagged by immigration authorities, C invoked his right to remain silent. The case now puts to the test the government's enforcement of citizenship, ownership, and national security rules, and whether those rules apply even when major business interests are at stake. On another front, San Miguel Corporation is pushing back against online claims questioning the viability of the new Manila International Airport in Bulacan, including concerns over flooding, land subsidence, and potential environmental impacts. The issue gained momentum after a YouTube video went viral, raising questions about flood risk and land stability at the project site. San Miguel Corporation has dismissed the claims as inaccurate and misleading, urging the public and stakeholders to rely on verified technical data from official and regulatory sources. The Ramon Ang-led conglomerate says the Bulacan Airport project meets global infrastructure benchmarks, including compliance with the International Finance Corporation's environmental and social performance standards, a level of oversight rarely applied to major local infrastructure projects. In other news, Playtime Entertainment, a fast-growing Philippine-based entertainment and gaming company, is expanding its corporate social responsibility efforts as it scales up its business operations. Its CSR arm, Playtime Cares, is stepping up a partnership with Alagang Kapatid Foundation, a humanitarian outreach arm of TV5. The groups recently held a Christmas giving activity providing meals, grocery packs, blankets, and basic essentials to community beneficiaries. Playtime Cares also committed 1 million pesos to support ongoing humanitarian and community-based programs. Alagang Kapatid is known for its work in disaster response, livelihood support, and community relief programs nationwide. For Playtime Entertainment, the partnership signals a push to pair business expansion with social impact as the company positions itself as a larger player in the Philippine entertainment and gaming industry. Now, with his administration under intense scrutiny, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is closing ranks at Malacañang as political stability and policy continuity remain key for investor and business confidence. Speaking at a flag-raising ceremony at the office of the president, Marcos thanked staff for staying focused amid what he called growing political noise. The president described his team as effective disruptors of the old guard, defending the administration's reforms as necessary and in the national interest, even as budget talks, corruption probes, and policy execution remain under the spotlight. Now, as we close out the year, it's easy to get caught up in the headlines, the challenges, the corruption probes, and the market volatility. But through it all, one question still matters most: what keeps us rooted in the Philippines and what still makes this country worth believing in? This December on Business 360, I asked respected business leaders to share a short message answering what they love most about our country. Today, we hear from a leader shaping the Philippine food and hospitality scene. Aba Napa is a prominent Filipino entrepreneur, restaurateur, and co-founder and creative development lead of the Moment Group, one of the most influential hospitality groups in the country, known for redefining modern Filipino dining. Here is her message.
What I love most about the Philippines is the spirit of our people. It may sound simple, but after more than a decade of building restaurants in this country, I've seen it up close every single day. There's a generosity of heart in this country that survives anything. I feel that spirit in dining rooms, in kitchens, in teams that come not just to work, but to create moments for fellow Filipinos. We are a young and talented country. And we are a people buoyed by a natural optimism. In good times and in bad, we smile. But we must also find a way to carry each other forward. I believe that when given the opportunity to rise, we will, and we do. I've seen it. I look forward to the many tomorrows to come where our nation will rise up to meet the greatness of its people. The best of who we are is still ahead of us, and I believe the years to come will show us all just how much we're capable of. Maligayang Pasko at manigong bagong taon.
And that's it for Business 360. I'm Maiki Oreta. Thank you for joining us, and keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.